Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Apex Racing for Operation Motorsport, the iRacing League Round 6. We are at Watkins Glen this evening, probably my second favourite American circuit of all time. What a place to be, what a track to be at for what is going to be an absolutely monstrous race. The 45 minutes around this circuit will be fantastic viewing, especially with a couple more drivers on the grid. I'm Matthew Duffin, bringing you all the action tonight with our producer Jonathan in the background, bringing you all the live shots, replays, and all the scenes of this track here at Watkins Glen. And all the action. Brands Hatch a week ago was fantastic. And yes, for you viewers in UK and Europe, we are here an hour earlier. The Americans' time have gone forward that 1 hour. Which is better for us because it means we're not finishing at 2:30 in the morning. We're finishing at 1:30 here in the United Kingdom on the commentary box. Can already see a lot of people in the chat. Hannibal Moore, Paddock Plus, Lexi's in there, as is Brandon Kennedy, and Fury's Grandad, aka Tony, in there. Simplay Motorsport is myself, so I will ignore that one in the chat. And it's going to be an interesting one this evening, that is for sure. Watkins Glen, beautiful, beautiful place. We've got 2 of the pro bands out there on circuit tonight, 8 pro drivers, 7 beneficiaries, and then 14 open class cars as we enter the 10-minute qualification period here at Watkins Glen. This is going to be a fascinating one to see who can do what. Here is Josh Sheps in that Ford Mustang, and just looking down on my time screen, I've got all the iRating licenses in front of me, so I can see their letter license and their sort of iRating number next to it with their iRating bits as well. I'm still learning iRacing as we pick it up week in, week out. This man, Ken Copeland, he's dabbling his way through every single GT3 car this series, and it's going to be an interesting one to see because he's now gone for the Mercedes-AMG GT3. Not seeing a lot of them, so we'll hopefully see Ken Copeland in the Acura very soon. Race winner a couple of times this season, as well as Turbo Snow, watching from Sebring. Obviously Sebring's this weekend. Good luck the boys as Apex Racing. Thank you very much. Matthew's always bringing the energy, and let's see what we can do then with Ken Copeland coming down the final corner, down the home straight, and in towards turn 1, aka the 90 here at Watkins Glen. Very tricky corner because that second part of the curb just rises a little bit. Don't worry, they're not taking track limits. That is perfectly acceptable. Greedy on the outside curb. Now up through the S's. This will be the interesting part of this race. See who can do what through the S's, because it's very easy to lose the car and cause a huge pile. Kind of reminds you a little bit of Eau Rouge at Spa. Down then the back straight in towards the inner loop. This is a very quick section of the circuit. Literally, as he's just done there, bunny hop over all 4 curbs there, carry the speed, carry the momentum straight into the outer loop, just slightly angles down towards the inside of the corner, does the banking of that turn. Now you're coming downhill towards Chute. Again, tricky left-hander. Got to be good on the brakes. A bit of a hurry-up-and-wait corner, this one. Power out of it, though, in towards Toe. And this is probably the most trickiest corner on this circuit. You're climbing back uphill. Corner just starting to angle away from you ever so slightly. Waiting. Bang! Throttle down. Power out. Down the boot. Towards the heel. You go. I wonder if anybody is heel and toe in on the brakes and accelerator tonight. Through heel. Now you come to another track limit, not violation, if you will. You can go so wide that part up towards turn number 9, I believe it is. Through there. Now you're coming in towards the penultimate corner. This one can be taken with just a little lift of the throttle, dig it in, get it to that apex, flick it left, flick it right, or right left, back into the final corner, as close to that pit wall without hitting, close to the outside wall without hitting the outside wall. And if you are quick enough, you've done a heck of a time. And for Ken Copeland there, as we await the time to update on our screen, it may have been invalid, to be fair, because it's not changed at the moment. So he's invalidated his lap, possibly run the limits somewhere this evening. Then there is one of the Acuras at the moment. That is Schwenkler, currently on pole in the Pro category, who was mightily impressive last week in the Acura at Brands Hatch. Currently setting a 1:44.3. That is the quickest time we've seen out there from anybody this evening at the moment. There is a BMW on track of Rodney Campbell. He's just leaving the pit lane now. I believe everybody else is out on circuit. Richard Davenport isn't, and Chris Halstead isn't. So there's 3 drivers yet to come onto track. This then is Potts, Brandon Potts, the pole sitter in the open class. And I'm loving the fact that Jonathan is finding all the Acuras that are currently P1. He's listened to me all season. He knows how much I'm a fan of the NSX. They're all up there at the moment. Let's see if they will remain. This is Potts, Brandon Potts for the ZFG Racing coming through. Now we have to turn to it. Here is Tyler Gilmet, leader in Pro Ben at the moment, and he has a competitor, Greg Meismer, back with him to try and take on his challenge this evening in the Pro Ben category. Let's see what Tyler will do as he comes through the final corner. Lovely shot there. The camera shaking as the cars thunder down the start-finish straight. Towards the line comes Tyler, and he improves, sets another fastest lap in this session. Schwenkler still fastest man on the circuit at the moment. And I'm just looking here, we're halfway through the qualifying session. Not a lot of lap times on the board, but at this halfway stage of the season, we want to thank Operation Motorsport for Season 10 of the eMotorsport iRacing League. We are beyond excited to kick off another incredible year of racing. And this season, we've got something very special. New for 2025, we are proud to announce that Operation Motorsport beneficiaries racing the Pro Beneficiary and the Beneficiary category now have access to virtual coaching using Trophy.ai services. The partnership is designed to help these incredible competitors refine their skills and become even more competitive on the track, all while boosting their confidence off it as well. The initiative supports eMotorsport diversionary therapy program, which creates a thriving, supportive community for medically released service members, medically retired service members, and veterans within the service-connected disability, as recognised by the US Department of Veteran Affairs or Veteran Affairs Canada. It's a space where the participants ranging from active duty to veterans can come together, train and race in an inclusive virtual environment. This season we have 15 Operation Motorsport beneficiaries competing, and we could not be prouder to have them on the grid. Let's show them the love as they continue to break down the barriers and redefine what is possible in the world of eMotorsport. Thank you for your continued support from our partners CrowdStrike and Michelin, and of course that of Trophy AI, who obviously have backed us throughout this season. And we will bring you, as always, the driver beneficiary spotlight profile in the programme. Copeland has taken pole sadly away from the Acura of Schwenkler, coming through the final corner now. It is only by 0.04 of a second, let's not mistake ourselves. So has he found an improvement here on this time around? He doesn't. No, that was a bit of a slow lap there, so maybe an outlap or a cool down the tyres and push for one more in a few moments' time then as we get ready to go in this session. So Tyler Gilmette, P1 in the Pro, Ben. Ken Copeland, P1 in the Pro, fastest overall as well. Ian Kearney, well, he's been phenomenal all season. He's not lost a race yet in the Ben category. He's P1 yet again by half a second in the Ben category. What a drive from this man this afternoon. And Tyler Manning has again taken top spot away from an NSX. He's currently leading pole position in the Open category. There he is in his McLaren 720S Evo. Lovely looking livery on that car. I am really impressed with some of the decals out there tonight. They are absolutely beautiful. We've seen some gorgeous ones all season as we continue to see what we can do through this race and through this qualifying period. 2 minutes left, just over a minute left on the clock. And we are currently on board with that of Tyler Manning, who's coming down towards heel. A few of the guys in the pit, so they will be done for the evening in terms of qualifying. That is for sure. A couple of drivers, Gene McLaughlin not set a lap time in the Pro category. Just looking down, Richard Davenport hasn't set a lap time in Ben. And then Chris Halstead, Billy Oul and Tyler Reid hasn't set a lap time. Billy Oul's in a Ford Mustang. I'm sure he was in the Mercedes the other week, so interesting to see that he's there. Here is Meismer, Porsche. Only 3 tenths, just under 2 tenths maybe. It's just over 2 tenths, off the back of Gilmette in the Pro Get Ben category. Running in that Porsche. And you can tell the difference in these cars as well. You see the sun strip and the wing mirrors and the little end plates on the back of the rear wing. They are purple for the Pro Ben. They are the reddy, pinky kind of colour for the Open class, blue for the Pro, and green for Ben. So that will identify, you see there, just that sun strip across the windscreen, as well as the wing mirrors and the little end plates on the rear wing. That'll identify so that you, the viewer, can see who is who and what is what on this circuit at the moment. So great track of cars so far, great category to be in, and what a season Operation Motorsport have had for this season. Been absolutely fantastic. They've been beyond impressive, have the drivers out there this season. It's been really good action to watch. We kind of get that mid-race lull where all the pit stops happen, then it seems to pick up again at the end. And at Brands Hatch did we have some drama at the end. This is at Rios down the order. Here's Copeland once again, and his closest rival Schwenkler is in the pits. McLeod is out on track though, and everybody's about to finish their lap time. So can Copeland in the Mercedes find any more pace out of that car? What is he? Literally 0.04 of a second quicker than Schwenkler at the moment. As Pro Ben goes the way of Tyler Gilmette. Here comes Copeland then, rounding the final corner now. Watch that outside wall, lovely done, over the curb. McLaughlin's just jumped up into third place there, so good one lap from him. Left it till the very end and improved on the final lap, and Copeland improves on the final lap as well. Tyler Manning, P1 in the Open class. Shelton is still on a lap, so we'll see if Shelton can improve to maybe take out pole position. Richard Davenport gets a lap on the time. He goes P7. Ian Kearney, though, Ian Carney, current pole sitter in that Ben category as Shelton there crosses line. Does improve, but P7 for him. And what is that? Some 1.2 off the pole in category at the moment. That's a heck of a lap time from Tyler Manning there. He's got 4 tenths pretty much to Tyler Beeman in the P2 Mustang around this circuit. So it's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on throughout tonight and throughout the race. We'll get you the full classified grid order as soon as we can. But what a night's worth of action we are expecting here at Watkins Glen for this 6th round of the season. Remember, we've got a couple more rounds, only a handful left in the championship as we come towards the end of it. We head next week to Road America. Then we go over to Canada for round 8, back to Virginia for round 9, in which should be fantastic. And round 9 at Virginia will sadly go back to the usual time if you're in Europe and the UK, because our clocks will then go forward. So we've got 3 early races if you're in Europe and the UK watching these. 3 races that start at midnight, And then the final race at Virginia will go back to that 1 a.m. in the UK race time. But obviously, all the Americans, it is all the same as usual. Ken Copeland then, pole position in Pro and overall from Robert Schwenkler, P2. Gene McLaughlin in P3 with Tyler Manning, P4, and pole position in the Open category. Great qualifying from him. Gene Kelly, P5. Pro Ben, Tyler Gill met 6th place, pole position overall. Ian Kearney, 7th place, beneficiary, pole position for him. P8 is Rodney Campbell. P9 then Tyler Beeman in his 2nd place in that Open category from Greg Meismer, P10. Martin Wallace, 11th place with Brandon Potts in 12th. Jason Taylor, 13th with Jonathan Lebie in 14th. Brandon Leonard, P15, and going from 16th, Jacob Little. 17th place for Peter McDade with Josh Sheps in 18th. Kyle Shelton will go from 19th place. Chandler Baker, P20. Dan Fendick from 21st. 22nd place for Rui Farina. 23rd for Tanner Masters. And 24th, Brandon Mateo. 25th place for Charles Boschel with John Hicks in 26th. 27th for Anthony Calvi. Louis Rios, 28th. Richard Davenport, 29th. P30 for Christopher Puglis, Cody Durkin 31st, and 32nd Tyler Reed. I'm bringing up the rear then. Billy Hull 33rd and Chris Halstead 34th. So a great grid out there. 34 competitors. Let's hope we see all 34 cars on track and ready to go. Let's go, Jason, says Dark Wolf in the chat. So he's ready and raring to go. As the drivers will be on that formation lap then here. And this is going to be an interesting one. Anthony Calvi in the pits. Chris Halstead not in the lobby, I don't believe, because his name still hasn't gone white. But yeah, Anthony Calvi is in the pits. And they're the only drivers at the moment to miss out on so far. So here we go then with some last minute dramas in Watkins Glen. Championships coming to an end. Ian Kearney looking for a clean sweep. What will happen out there? It's going to be an interesting one to see. You will not want to miss any moment of this race. 2 drinks up already. We are prepared tonight and good to go on this I'd say lovely warm evening here in the UK, but it has gone a bit chilly again this week. We're in that kind of weather period now where it just wants to make its mind up. Are we warm? Are we cold? Either way, the drivers are fully focused on what they need to do and ready to get this race underway. I'm looking forward to this one. This could be an interesting race. This could be an instant classic, to be fair, around this circuit. Watkins Glen can provide such good racing. Such good racing. I think this is going to be an interesting race to be a part of. And let's see what the drivers can do out there at the moment. And as they're coming through, shoot on that formation lap. Plenty of work for these drivers to do. Watkins Glen that opened up back in... I've just closed the wrong page down. Brilliant. So I can't even tell you when it opened. 2 seconds. Watkins Glen opened back up in 1956, which I'm looking at the Grand Prix circuit. It's a bit different to what you see now. Obviously, this layout's been there since 1992, so it is technically as old as me. I was born in '92, so this layout is as old as me. Brilliant place to come. Just looking at the different variations of this track, we then got in 71, 74. We got the sort of circuit the same. It wasn't until 92 that the inner loop seemed to get introduced. That's where Watkins Glen just added a little bit extra to it. Turbo saying let's go Father J in the chat as well. So great to see some support out there for the drivers as we head into the penultimate corner and for the 6th round of the season. We are about to get underway. And this is going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on. This could be an absolute fantastic race here tonight. As for the first time this for the only time this evening, round 6 of the championship, it is red lights on, and green, and go here. When the green lights go, they're all gone racing. The Acura's lost out massively coming in towards turn 1. The lights went red, and then they went green all of a sudden a long way down the start straight. But that was a horrendous start there for Schwenkler, who lost out to a couple of cars, one being Tyler Manning in that Open GT3 category, then in that McLaren, who's on the back now of Ken Copeland. You can get a lovely run up this the S's in towards the inner loop. Look at that, of Tyler Manning going side by side with the Mercedes in towards the inner loop. It all looks good through the first couple of corners, and the Open category car of Manning takes the lead of this race in a great start for that McLaren driver. Ken Copeland tried to turn in, realised there was a McLaren there and couldn't get fully committed to it. McLaren got ahead of Schwenkler as well. No dramas at the moment that I'm seeing. I'm seeing every car still out on the circuit. That is brilliant to see. And no yellow flags at this stage of the race. But Copeland here coming under pressure now from McLaren, who looks up the inside in towards toe. And easy does it as they come through here. The Porsche just showing the nose, not quite alongside that of the Mercedes-Benz just yet. Down the boot they come, and they're going to now be side by heel to toe, should I say, bumper to bumper as they come in towards toe, and the Porsche just not got enough in a straight line at the moment. This could be an interesting race then, with that Open category car of Manning leading the way here. Got a great gap over Beeman, down in second place in the Ford Mustang. That's already 3 seconds. Carnage, carnage, carnage down at toe, and there's 3 or 4 cars off there. Hopefully we can bring you a replay of what has happened just there, but that is absolute chaos. Back to the leaders then, and look at Copeland here on the back of Manning. Replay we can bring you now, and this is what has happened then, down towards toe. Watch the black and red BMW. This is Richard Davenport. Was there a drama in front of him, or was his car the one that caused the drama? Yeah, day late, dollar short. And then it's not as necessarily as other cars are off, it's that other cars was avoiding and rejoining. But Richard Davenport there, really too late in the day to make that move. It was never on. What an end to a pretty solid first lap by everybody there. But it is Tyler Manning who leads the way in the Open category, then coming through the inner loop once again. He's got that of Copeland and McLaren. Schwenkler just dropping off the back a little bit here at the moment as they come into this race. This is Potts, 3rd place in the Open category, fighting with the BMW. I believe that is that Campbell down there as well. He's just lost a few places in fights. Taylor's got past that, as has Potts. As Potts now looking to attack Greg Meismer, 2nd place in the Pro Ben category, side by side in towards heel, late on the brakes. The Acura up the inside, door left open for a big Ford Mustang to power through. And that is going to allow Jason Taylor to go side by side with Greg Meismer coming down the boot in towards toe for the 2nd time in this race. And it is Taylor on the inside in that Mustang. Has Meismer been able to keep the nose there? No, door shut. Look at behind, nearly 3 wide just behind. This is on board with Campbell in that BMW M4. Just watching on of the battles in front, and can't follow through against Meismer sadly there at the moment. Meismer's already lost out 5 seconds to Guillemette, so Guillemette in this race is just checked out a little bit. Manning 3 seconds clear. Copeland has that Porsche right behind him. Here he is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 near enough for the lead in through the 90. And look at that, the top 5, which is Ian Kearney and Tyler Guillemette. So it's the leaders of all the categories, and then McLeod and Schwenkler chucked into the mix as well. 2 seconds separating them. But look at Copeland, gets an almighty run up through the S's, and also as does McLaren here, who's looking to go up the inside. The Porsche just lacking a bit in a straight line. Here comes Copeland up the inside then of Taylor into the lead of this race. Yes, he does, and great momentum carried through the inner loop there. Great bit of work. It looked like he was going to clip the barrier, but not Ken Copeland. Takes a lot to rattle this guy, and he now retakes the overall lead of this race, and that puts the Pro category back up in the sharp end here as we drop down to Guillemette. This is a little further down the pack. That is that of Schwenkler just in front of Guillemette here. So behind him will be that of Carney, sorry. Schwenkler, they've just seen the Porsche go a little deep and bring it back in. It's easy to see that people at the heel always take that corner a little differently. It's down the boot in towards heel again. And Copeland there, beautiful overtake. Use that slipstream up the hill to just carry that momentum, carry that speed and edge through the corners. threw it towards the inner loop, and it was beautifully done from him. Gilmetto looking on the back here. McLaughlin and Strenkler will be looking to do something in this race. Remember, fuel is going to be an interesting factor, because that is going to play its part here massively. When the pit stops come around, that could play a huge part, and that's going to be an interesting one to keep our eyes on in this race. As down the start straight they come. Who's that side by side in the background? Looks like a Porsche and a Ford Mustang. It is that of Beeman, who is having a fight with Gene Kelly here. Looks like he's going to get the better of him. A couple of cars side by side in the background as well. Side by side now into the S's. Oh, this is very brave from Kelly, and then of that of Beeman. Second place in the open category in that Ford Mustang. Should have the legs over the Porsche in a straight line without the momentum. Beautiful work side by side up through the S's. It's his lovely bit of racing here at Watkins Glen. 6 minutes into this race, and Beeman then up the inside at the inner loop. Easy as you like. Great move there from Beeman. Keeps him second place in class, but puts him up the order overall. Remember, there is no points for overall in this category. It is points for class. So you're racing your class. At times you've got to get past the other competitors to catch up to a rival. As McDade has got ahead of Masters, and this is Wallace on the back of Campbell in that pro category. Porsche versus BMW. It's an odd livery on the Porsche, the 666 Porsche there of Wallace. Can't really make out what it is, to be honest with you. Either way, I'm sure he enjoys it. That's why it's on the car. He's hunting down Rodney Campbell now then, in towards heel they come. A train of cars up front as well. So this place could just then instantly put him on the back of the next place, and the next place, and the next place. Is at least 4 or 5 cars. A little mistake there up front, and I'm not sure who that was. In fact, was there a bit of a slowdown for the car in front? He pulled to the side, let the one in front of him go. That looks like the rear of an Acura, just in front of the BMW. It is, of course. Wallace, Copeland and Manning then. Yeah, Manning's dropped back quite a bit here. He's coming under pressure now from McLaughlin and that of Schwenkler. Look at Schwenkler though. Lights are on. You know you mean business when your headlights are on, and he's got a great run up through the S's. McLaughlin goes defensive here. Is he going defensive, or is he going to try and attack that? He can't tuck back in because Schwenkler's there. Schwenkler backs out of that one, thinks better of it through the inner loop, tries to get the momentum now to the outer loop and down towards Chute. You've got to be careful because Gilmet's there in that all-powerful, and you can't miss that Ford, bright green. It'd be hard to not see that one in your rear view. As here is Schwenkler looking up the inside at Chute. That Porsche just a little off the apex. You just see there mid-corner, it has a bit of a moment through there. Let's stay on board here as we come in towards toe, and the Porsche very deep. Schwenkler looks up the inside, and the Porsche doesn't look fully comfortable out there, I'm not going to lie. Whether that's car or driver, something doesn't look pretty comfortable on that car. And there is the beautiful Ford Mustang looking up the inside of Schwenkler. That's going to help McLaughlin a little bit, take the pressure off him. And now look who's come to play. It's Ian Carney then who's come to have a go at Gilmet as well. So all happening here in the 3 different classes. Well, if you think of this, it's 3 different classes, 1 race, and this is why you've got to love. You know, people love multi-class racing. You've also got to love the multi-tier kind of racing where there's different classes, same car categories. It just provides us with such entertainment. Here's the Red Bull Acura down the order of Leonard, P5 at the moment. Just chasing down that of Jacob Little. He's got Chandler Baker on the back of him. There we see back to the Porsche. Looking not close enough, none of them at the moment. Just kind of follow the leader so far. It's not anymore. This is Kelly fending off Jason Taylor. Porsche versus Mustang. Will the Mustang pop out and have a look in towards the inner loop? There's a battle behind as well. Porsche BMW. And Kelly there just gets the ending of inner loop wrong. It's not going to hurt him too much as they drop down towards Chute here. Yeah, not too bad there for Gene Kelly. He's been able to keep that one pointing in the right direction, and that's the best thing. These are fighting for 4th and 5th at the moment in the pro category. They've got that of Meismer just behind them as well. Listen, Taylor up 2 places in this race. Carney, by the way, in the BEM category, 10.5 seconds clear of second place Baker. And if Tanner Masters gets on the podium, I promise we won't ask him what's he got to do to beat Carney. Because I think we've asked him that question every single week, and he must be fed up of hearing us asking that one right now. This is P4 in the pro category between Kelly and Taylor. Greg Meismer's just sat there in the background, you can see, in the black and orange Porsche. A little wide there from Kelly. This could open the door a little bit now for Taylor in towards the final corner. Manages to recover it then, but again, it's just another Porsche on board. It doesn't look happy through these corners. Has now Taylor got a little bit of that Ford alongside? I think he's got all the Ford alongside, breaking in towards the 90. Turn 1, there you go. Ford up the inside. Lovely manoeuvre there. And now here comes Meismer bringing himself into play. And with a good run through turn 1, unlike that of Kelly, could this allow Meismer to get into that slipstream? You can just see him closing up a little bit through the S's there. Carrying that speed, carrying that momentum. Now in the slipstream. Really in it, really in it, really in it. Look at the closing speed. Pulls out of it to have a look and show the nose. Pulls back in now. It's like, I'm not going to overtake you yet. But if I get closer next time round, I may have a little lock. This is back up towards Manning then, as McLaughlin has got ahead of him now for second place overall. So Manning currently down to P3 overall. Still leading that open category. Beeman has caught up by 2.3 seconds. He's got the gap down. This is McLaughlin getting past that of the McLaren. Just a better run out of toe, down through the boot, in towards heel. Laid on the brakes. Yeah, lovely, lovely. Textbook. Maybe not quite textbook. There was a little hip and shoulder there, which nearly allowed Schwenkler to come through. He got shown the grass a little bit. And yes, before the chat makes jokes, Hondas do make great lawnmowers. Yes, we know that. As they all come through now, the back part of the circuit. So not as clean as maybe we'd have thought. It looked brilliant though, and it was just that Porsche out of tow. The momentum, pulled the switch, and tried to get back up the inside. Through there. This is on board with Tyler Reid, down in P8. Up 11 places in this race is Tyler Reid. So what a race for him. He's on the back of the Ferrari, that appears to be. Don't remember seeing many Ferraris out there, so that must be Rui Farina, I do believe. It's McDade, so I'm wrong there. But so McDade, P4 beneficiary class. Tyler Reid, 8th open class. That would make more sense because Rui Farina is 13th in open class. Coming through the S's now. Oh, here we go. Porsche on Porsche into the inner loop. Gene Kelly and Greg Meismer. Kelly's lost a lot of momentum and time over this last couple of laps to Taylor. Fell into the clutches of Meismer. Really closes up there through the exit of the outer loop. Down in towards the chute they come. You feel ascend it. He's going to be done here and up the inside. Meismer sticks the nose, shows the nose. Job done. Lovely overtake. Here comes the... is that the Acura behind? I believe it is. Of Potts then. And again the Porsche a little wide. Potts having a look. Both these cars just a little down on power. So Potts now having a look. Third in the open class. A great little battle so far from all these drivers. Kelly then. Definitely struggling in that Porsche out there. Really is. Just something not right at the moment in that Porsche. Whether it's the car or him, but you know, he was up there ahead of Taylor a moment ago. He's now 5 seconds off the back. Sorry, he's now 2.8 off the back of Taylor. And he's lost out to Greg Meismer. And he's under pressure now from Potts. And then Wallace and Campbell aren't too far behind here as we enter the 15-minute period of this race. Here is Wallace. He's only 8 tenths off the back of Kelly. And that is the difference there. Now up through the S's once again. Can the Acura of Potts do anything about that of Kelly in the slipstream? Wallace may be trying to get in the slipstream of the Acura as well. I think the Acura is a little closer to Kelly than what Wallace is to him. Potts at the moment in towards the inner loop, popping over the curb once again. And a great job for him there as they come through and down into the outer loop. This is Copeland, who has now got into a rhythm after losing the lead early on to Manning and has just started to put the laps in. McLaughlин's no longer got that traffic, but if you look at there, look at the last 3 laps. Not huge margins, but enough to just creep away that little bit at this stage of this race. So for Copeland here, he's doing what he needs to do. Manning's got a 2.6 lead over Beeman in that category. Carney, 13 seconds in the lead of Ben. And Gilmet, 6.6 ahead of Meismer. But Gilmet having a blinding of a race here against that of Carney. This is who we're on board with at the moment. I believe that's Beeman just behind them, second place in the open category. Porsche versus Ford Mustang. Leader versus leader in the categories. You have to tip your hat to Kearney. The work he's done this season. Phenomenal work he's done this season. This is a bit down the order. Sheps down chasing Chandler Baker and Kyle Shelton. Sheps down a position. Baker up 1 and Shelton up 1. They're all pretty close through turn 1. A couple of cars leaving the pit lane there. I thought that was a little early for a pit stop, but the drivers, Louis Rios, Cody Durkin, Richard Davenport, we've got an off track here that we can see from Louis Rios, so let's see if anything happened to him. So all on his own, down the back straight, coming towards the inner loop. Car get unsettled a little bit, or was it just... Oh, yeah, there we go, bang, into the wall. I'm not surprised he's been into the pits. That was a quick, hard hit. And that is what happens if you get that inner loop wrong. It is so easy to get it right and beautiful through the inner loop. At the same time, you put one wheel out of place, that will happen to you. And yeah, there's no wonder why he there just ended up in the wall. But this is Sheps that we are on board with. Chasing down the Porsche ahead. There's not a lot of action at the moment, but we are coming to that little bit of the lull in the race where pit stops may start to happen within the next 5 to 10 minutes. Here's Kelly once again. So he's got passed by that of Meismer, and now Wallace is right behind him. So Wallace is dispatched. Was it Potts, I believe, who was in front of them? So was Campbell. You see Potts there in the background. Kelly trying to get back on the rear of Meismer, and late on the brakes. Martin Wallace nearly into the back of Gene Kelly there, and that could have been a disaster for both Porsches. Could have took them out of the race, and Martin Wallace well avoided there, but just misjudged his braking zone a little bit there, and that's allowed Campbell to get back through and up 1 spot. Very close of that of Martin Wallace. I'd love to see an onboard of that as he's looking up the inside. This is Potts having a look at Wallace into the inner loop as well. No can do at the moment. Ooh, a little greedy on the curb there from Wallace. Just saw what happened a moment ago as Hicks is in the pits in the Ben category. Wallace now wide there. So, yeah, very interesting to see how he's just... Oh, and there's Brandon Potts now deep. So just a few errors creeping into a few drivers. Games, who's that in the wall there, into the pit lane, they return, and that was Taylor, P8 in the pro category. Oh, he's P8 now, but he was 4th place in category. This is what happened to him. So he's coming through down into the chute. He's about to lap what looks to be one of the open class Mercedes-Benz. Oh, he's just on his own. Can we get an onboard of that? I'm wondering, because I'd like to see, did he catch the Mercedes a lot quicker than he expected? Because you see him hit the brakes as the car's straightening up. So this is on board. Let's watch the closing speed through the chute. This is the interesting fact I want to point out here. So he gets a nice tight line through the chute. Good exit. Yeah, I caught the Mercedes. And I think the Mercedes has gone to try and let him through. Obviously, you come back to the left of the circuit to take the racing line. He's braked on the curb. That's upset the rear. As who's this now? This is Wallace looking up the inside. That is on one of the Ben category drivers. Baker into the pits from P4, so pit stop starting to happen. Campbell also into the pits. And look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, with a slow back marker coming up through the S's. He wants to get up to speed quickly, but look at Wallace here. A couple of the open cast drivers on the back of him at the moment. There is Potts, and I think Little is involved there, and Leonard all together. So it's second, it's third, fourth, and fifth in the open category, and then Wallace P5 in the pro category, who's a little wide and deep side by side here for that a Little, and Leonard coming in towards the outer loop, and down through they come. What a bit of driving that is from these four, and they all get away with it scot-free there. But lovely done. It's not over yet, though, because Little coming back here. Did he get a tap off the other Mustang? No, I don't think he did. Apparently he did. According to Jonathan, sorry, I keep calling you Josh. I worked with Josh the other day. Jonathan said there was a small tap. So that would have unsettled him. Yeah, you can see that the front end just has taken a little dent there. Oh. We've all got to catch our breath. I said that the mid part of the race was a bit of a lull as the pit stops happened. Well, it's as exciting as ever here at Watkins Glen. Whew, we can just have a moment to catch our breath. But what a spell of driving this is from everybody here. This is one thing I have to tip my hat to Operation Motorsport at the moment. As Carney leads pits from the lead in the Ben category. The standard of driving in this Operation Motorsport Championship has been second to none. It has been fantastic. You aren't seeing these clumsy incidents from drivers. You're seeing a lot of drivers make their own mistake. The standard of driving is top notch here from Operation Motorsport. What a show they have put on. Here is Gilmet on the defensive here from Tyler Beeman, second in that open class. He wants to get past Gilmet here because he wants to chase down that of Manning and the two Ford Mustangs coming towards the inner loop. You just see that defensive line, and again look, just a little greedy on the curb there for the final part for Gilmet. Drivers starting to pit. I think now could be a pretty good time to actually go and mention today's spotlight driver. That is John Salada, who I don't believe is actually there today. I've not seen the name on the list, so we'll read through it. We'll do it anyway. It resides in Niagara Falls, beautiful part of the world. It served in the US Army, is a US Army veteran. He spent 13 years of his career as a combat engineer, serving as a squad leader until his medical retirement in 2022. He has vast knowledge of cars and everything from how each component works together to the tools and equipment used to build a racing vehicle. John has hands-on experience with motorsports, working on pit crews in Super Dirt, Sanction 358 modifieds and sportsmen. He loves the excitement and competitive nature that comes with being a part of a racing team, along with a sense of camaraderie he used to enjoy as a combat engineer. So John, thank you very much for your service to the US Army and obviously to your country. And that one was for you, buddy. A bit of driver spotlight there for John. Back to the racing action, because it is non-stop here tonight. Wallace, Potts, Leonard, there you see in the background in that Acura. Coming down, Masters in the pits from the lead of Beneficiary now, so McDade takes the lead there. There is Masters, who has probably been this. He's changed the livery. That was pink last week. I'm a fan of the pinkish red on that car. It's beautiful. Not only because it's on an MSX, but Masters probably the term forever the bridesmaid, never the bride sort of comes to mind with Masters this season, because he's been short of Carney all season. Carney has definitely been the bride in that Beneficiary category this season on, and it's been a cracking battle to see him. Schwenkler here, well, pace of P2 in qualifying, nearly the pace for the outright pole position. Can't get past Manning in this one, and that's allowing Copeland and McLaughlin here to just pull away. 2 seconds to McLaughlin, and McLaughlin 2 seconds to Copeland. Pit stops happening as we are just over the halfway stage of this race. A sip of coffee and catch our breath while we get ready for round two, effectively, because after these pit stops are done, we're going to see, I think, some dramatic action towards the end of this race here at Operation Motorsport, the eMotorsport League. This is on board hen with P2 in the open class. Beeman brought the gap down slightly to Manning, and that could be because Manning's just coming under a bit of pressure from Schwenkler. And you can see them two in front. So I tip my hat to Guillemette and to Beeman here, because they have not let Schwenkler, who was so good at Brands Hatch last week, get away. They've been fantastic around here at the moment. Good run though for Beeman up through the S's. Now can start to chase down after that Ford Mustang of Guillemette, leader in the Pro Ben versus second in the Open class. Beeman just ran out of road there. Into the inner loop they go. Lovely defence that as well. Just put the car where he needed to put it, and it made Beeman try to go around the outside. This is Potts and Martin Wallace. So this is P5 in Pro and P3 in the Open category, going at it through the inner loop. And who was behind? It was Leonard behind. He's dropped well off the back of these two. He was a lot closer last time around. So he's dropped right off the back in this one at the moment. Here is Brandon Potts. And that Acura just getting a little closer under the braking. Ooh, has a little look there. Got a tighter run and had a look through. But couldn't make it stick. And that's what I love about this series at the minute. It's such a mixed bag of cars. And then with them 4 categories, it is fantastic. McLaren into the pits then from second place in this race. And that is also Beeman from second place in the Open category as well. So a few of the drivers just coming into pit lane. And they are in to start to do their stops. Carry on in this race. And McLaren may be looking at getting a little bit closer with that undercut and seeing what he could do. That's going to be an interesting one, see how much the undercut will work here. This is still that fight between Schwenkler and Manning. P1 in Open is Manning in the McLaren. Schwenkler now P2, a net P3 if you will in the Pro category. Then Leonard in, Shelton in, Reed in, Wallace in. A lot of drivers in for their stops. Just going to be an interesting race. There is a few more to go. Tyler Reed still in, and away he goes. We just await now our race leader of Copeland, and then the Open leader of Manning and Schwenkler. McDade still leads in Ben. We'll see what they can do then as this race continues on into the late evening here at Watkins Glen. Been a cracking race so far from every driver out there on the grid. We're told that Manning may pit late. Good on the fuel saving. Oh, Copeland, sorry. Good on the fuel saving is Copeland. So he may end up pitting late here. We've seen that a few times where he's just saved a bit of fuel. And when you've got the gap, you can save that bit of fuel, especially when your rival is in a bit of traffic looking up the inside of the Ferrari. And through he goes. Lovely little manoeuvre that. Through the final couple of bouncing on the grass there. Potts into the pits from second place in category at the moment. And that'll allow Sheps to now take second place. But if we look at that timing screen, Potts who's in the pit. Sheps hasn't pitted. Fendick's also in. He's not pitted until now. So Beeman's the one to watch out for as he goes back through ahead of Potts. So Josh Sheps, Tyler Manning not yet pitted. Both Pro Ben guys haven't pitted of Guillemette and Meismer. McDade hasn't pitted in the Ben category and in Pro. Gene Kelly, Robert Schwenkler and Ken Copeland yet to pit. Rui Farina is now in, as is that of Puglis down in the Open category. So back to Manning and to Schwenkler. Schwenkler now 6 seconds off the back of Copeland. So losing time while Every seems to be behind this McLaren. The problem is he doesn't seem close enough to overtake the McLaren. Surely now you'd think, because of McLaren having free air, Strategy's got to come into it. I need to undercut him. Or has he been fuel saving? Is he going to go longer in the race? So Manning's in. So leader from open class into the pits. Gilmet into the pits as well. Looks like a couple of cars behind. That looks like Meismer coming into the pits in the background. And then that of Kelly. So let's see where Sheps is. Can Sheps get past Manning? No, because he's in the pits. It was Beeman who was second place. Can Beeman get past Manning while Manning is in the pit lane? Well, here he comes around the final corner. Manning's still in the pits. He's on his way out now. Manning gained 3 seconds through the pit stop. And he's out the pits and he's on his way. So Manning done. And there is Beeman in the background just coming through turn 1. So not close enough. McDade pits in the beneficiary category as well. So Carney takes back the lead there. Will Masters get past McDade? That's going to be the question for second place. Again, for Tanner Masters. McDade's leaving the pit lane as Masters is coming through. And it's that yellow line there by the green cone. That is the pit limiter line. Off the limiter he comes. Through turn 1 goes Masters. And no, McDade just in front. But there could be a race on there towards the end of this race. That could be a fight for second and third in the Ben category to keep our eyes on as we go through this race. Copeland, race leader, into the pits, as comes Schwenkler. So they've saved enough. Both of the drivers of the Wrong Stuff team are in. Now what can they do? Schwenkler will love to have jumped out of Manning in the pit lane by going longer. This is an acute angle at them to have parked at on the diagonal. Up, down, bit of refueling. Away goes Copeland. McLaughlin was 2 and a bit, 3 seconds off the back of Copeland. Whoa, just a pit limit line there. As McLaughlin now 4.7 is that gap. Schwenkler's on his way out. Here's Manning, here's Schwenkler. Has Schwenkler got the job done? Yes, he has. Gets him in the pits. Pulls an absolute blinding strategy, but now Manning's going to have that slipstream up through the S's. The momentum's with the McLaren driver. Goes to the outside as they come now down the back straight towards the inner loop. McLaren on the left, Acura on the right. Who's going to be braver on the brakes in towards the inner loop? It's the McLaren around the outside, and that is a great move as Schwenkler nearly into the back of him and has to avoid onto the grass. And the Acura there of Schwenkler nearly pulled off a blinding pit stop. But sadly for him, it wasn't able to do it. We'll try and get an onboard off Schwenkler. Here it is now. Coming up through then. You've got on the left-hand side of your circuit at the moment. That is out of Manning. There he is. Whoa, around the outside. Chop your nose off kind of stuff for the heart in mouth moment. Maybe on the radio to the team for a pair of new underpants, because that was a close one there coming through the inner loop. And it's Manning who comes away on top in that one there. Then we are down into the dying moments of this race. 11 and a half minutes left to go as Potts and Sheps are going at it for 4th and 5th in open. We've got McDade. Masters has got past McDade, so I said that one could be worth watching, and Masters has got the job done on McDade in the Ben category. There they are, and I'd love to say Tanner Masters has now got 11 and a half minutes to try and close 32 seconds, but I find that highly unlikely. Right, in a loop. There's a Ford Mustang in the way of McDade on the grass. No. Oh, not really got involved there. It was just that McDade so wide through the outer loop. And Tanner Masters, well, he'll bite your hand off for an invitation like that. He will not need a second one. And through goes Tanner Masters, P2 in that Ben category. This is Manning versus Schwenkler, P3 overall. It won't matter who finishes where, because it's not for points, but it's great on-track action. That Acura taking off the floor there over the first curb at the inner loop. Oh, we've got a... Uh-oh, Gilmet has had a crash. Oh, no! I think he's tagged him. I think he's tagged him. It was another Ford Mustang. I'm not sure it was. Stay still, stay still, stay still. Stay still, don't move, don't move, don't move. Now go. That's on the exit of the inner loop. He definitely collected another Ford Mustang there. No rear wing for Gilmet. Let's take a look. Guarantee it's something similar that we saw earlier on. Too much speed. Bouncing over the curbs. Here we go. First one, second one. Yeah, wiggle. No, wiggle. Mid inner loop. Big wiggle. Oh, he's not even put it in a wall. Oh, he's done so well not to put it in a wall. Oh, no. He's done all the hard work not to... And I tell you what, that Ford Mustang, he got away with it. He's just gone wide round the outer loop, and he's got away with that. That is going to be horrendous on the rear of that car for Gilmet. Meisner now leads. There you go, look. That is going to be some doing for 9 and a bit minutes for Gilmet. He kept it out the wall. If he just... Oh, there we go, round. No, stay still, stay still. Stay still, stay still, stay still. Oh, Gilmet, just stay still. Hold your brakes, stay where you are, make it predictable, but he's back going. Oh, don't drop it now, because there's the fight of Masters and McDade in that open class category here. He stayed to the inside. That's going to indicate to the drivers that he's taking the pit lane, because he stayed there before the start of the yellow line. Gilmet into the pits. Jeez. Right, let's go again. Brandon Potts, Jacob Little, Josh Sheps. All for the podium in open. Acura, Mustang. Oh my God, the Mustang's going to swallow the Acura up. No, he's not. Pulls back in behind Jacob Little. Had a look, showed Brendan Potts the nose. Oh, Potts is a little deep at the final part of the chicane. They're all through safely. I told you it was going to get exciting towards the end of this race, and this is for the final podium in that open class. My oh my, what a race we're seeing here between these three. This is absolutely fascinating at the moment. And yeah, great watching, great entertainment. Operation Motorsport, they don't fail to put on a show. Fantastic racing, fantastic. Here's Josh Sheps then in that Mustang. P5 in open. He's obviously going to try and work on getting a bit more time in this race, and hopefully a couple of places or two. So you can see the podium right there. You've got to hurry up, because there is Shelton in the background. So Shelton coming through. Ignore the fact that Sheps' car doesn't have that red sunstrip. He is in the open category. I'm not sure why that isn't the red sunstrip on his car. Ah, there we go. Joined late. Beeman, second place. He's had a moment. Is there any damage? Yes, there is. Yes, there is, I do believe. Has he hit a wall? In a loop. Third time it's caught a Ford Mustang out. Here is Tyler Beeman then. He gets on the grass, bounces over the curb where it's a bit thicker. Oh, hard hit. Hard hit. That could be some big damage on that Ford Mustang, and this could now turn that three-way fight we was just watching into a second place battle. Little and Sheps, by the way, right back on that of Potts. So Potts seems to have a better final sector. In fact, he's had a decent middle sector at the moment. Potts is 17 seconds off the back of Beeman. That could settle Manning for this race. That could do Manning for the race win. Let's see now for second place. I mean, 16 seconds is still a big ask with just under 6 minutes left in the race. So not long left to go. They've really got to start to throw everything at it. Oh, a little wide from Sheps there. This is Meisner. Down the order, or say down the order, but leading in the Pro Ben category. He's got, that is Kelly, I believe, on the back of him. At least we've been having a good little ding-dong. Oh, Rich, we've had a bit of debris on the track there, I'm not sure. At the bottom of the S's. So I'm unsure on that. Potts has already taken the gap down to 15.5 to Beeman, so gap's coming down. Not enough, though, for that second place. And then look at this, this is Little. Sheps hasn't gone with them through this opening part of the lap. Little has, gets alongside, down the back straight, up the inside towards the inner loop. Has he got it done? You bet your bottom dollar he has. Over the curbs nicely, keep it all together because we've seen the Mustangs. And look at the run that Sheps gets through the inner loop to the outer loop. Pretty much pushing the Acura. He's run very wide through the outer loop, just carrying too much speed. But that is where, and that is all down to the Ford Mustang just having a better top speed and a better straight line speed than the Acura. Because look at when the Acura's through the corners, look at how quickly it comes back onto the rear then of Little. But Little now on the podium. And that is great stuff for him. So I think we know that the Pro Ben category is won. Carney is one in Ben. And Copeland, it's only 3.4, and that gap's come down. Leonard's got Shelton for P6 in the open class. This gap's come down to 3.5 seconds, so Copeland maybe just cruise control at the moment. Although he was quicker over the last 2 laps. So, yeah, keep our eyes on that. Just ebbing and flowing maybe the lap time where it's coming down and going up. But still, tell you what, Beeman's doing a great job, because the gap's still 15.2. Beeman to Little now, so good stuff there. This is Shelton on the back of Leonard for 6th and 7th. Acura versus Ford Mustang yet again. Seems to be the common theme here at Watkins Glen. Great racing though. What a day of action here at the Glen. As we head to Road America next time out for round 7 of this 9-round championship. Brilliant event here at Watkins Glen tonight. We've got 3 minutes left. It's probably enough. What are we lapping here? I think there's 2 laps after this. Where's the leader? Let's take a look. Yeah, so he's coming into the penultimate corner now. So there will be 144. There's going to be, I reckon, 2 laps left. So here comes Copeland then. What a race, what a day it has been here. There's one of the Acuras in the pits. This is the Red Bull Acura of Leonard. Still fending off that of Shelton. Shelton tries to cut back down the back straight. You're going to see that Ford Mustang just better on a straight line. Better on the power than the Acura. The Acura is going to try and fight it around the outside. That's maybe a little too wide. Unfortunate there for Leonard in the Acura. Still that fight raging on for P3 though. Look at that. Still the 3 of them, Potts and Sheps and Little, going at it. Some brilliant action here today. And as we said, Road America next week before we head to Canada and then back down to Virginia for rounds 8 and 9. This is Little. Just now, you just seen putting that space between himself and Potts. That gap just opening up ever so slightly here. And he's building his gap little by little, pardon the pun. But he's able to do exactly what he needs to. Oh, there's Sheps right over the curbs at the inner loop. And he's just, I think now, Sheps just seems to be, the last couple of times we've been on him, just pushing it too much through that section of the circuit. And he's losing time to that of Potts and Little. This is Copeland. This should be the white flag with 45 seconds on the clock. Where's the little man? And the flag, can't see him. There he is as he pops out from underneath the car at the curved Arco barrier, catch fencing barrier, sorry. And it's white flag here at Watkins Glen. And that closest fight for that final podium, like we said, Little and Potts. Keep it in the track limits now. I know that we've seen drivers go out there, but Brandon Potts would not want an off-track and a slowdown penalty at this stage of the race. Because he's going to want to try and use this last lap. But the question is, though, where? When? Where? He's got to be close enough, that's the first thing. Got to be safe enough. And you've just got to fully commit. Little Shep, is back on the rear here. And there's that battle of Shep behind. Here is Meismer and Beeman. This is second place. Oh, the front bumpers come off that Ford Mustang of Beeman. So no wonder he's struggling a little bit. Here is Meismer. That's from when he went off at the inner loop and hit the wall. So I think that's Meismer possibly passing Beeman recently, I'd say, because he's now just dropped him at a rate of knots through the inner loop, and you can just see how much he's struggling. He's very, very fortunate that wasn't done earlier in this race. There we go, look, Shep again across the grass at the inner loop. And where can Potts get this done? We will come back to this fight, as we're about to see Copeland once again come to take the checkered flag. And in great fashion here at Watkins Glen, Ken Copeland, it doesn't matter what you seem to put him in, he does the business and wins in the pro category and overall. McLaughlin will be second place, as here comes Izzy Acura having a look of Potts. It's not got the straight line speed. Maybe this is the chance now of a lunge up the inside and have a look of a send it manoeuvre. He's not going to, though. He's going to fight it out and wait. Better through the corner is Potts there. He's not as wide this time around. Does he have a look up here? No, he does not. Early on the brakes goes the Ford Mustang. Potts just looking for that drive out the corner. He's got two corners to go. Sliding through the third but last corner into the penultimate one. Potts, I think that slide has killed all momentum here, and this is going to go the way of Little. Manning wins from Beeman in Open. Meismer wins in Pro Ben. Carney wins in the Ben category. McLaughlin and Schwenkler second and third in Pro. And it is going to be Little who takes that final podium spot in the Open class. What a drive from him. And Masters and McDade waiting for them to finish out, and Gilmet waiting for them all to finish out the podium here. There is Masters. Forever the bridesmaid, never the bride at the moment. McDade will take a third place. Not seen the Ferrari up there much this season. And then it is just Gilmet we are waiting on, who did get the repair of the rear wing. Couldn't really drive that car without it. So he had to do something there. But a spectacular race here at Watkins Glen. And what a time. What a race it has been. And yeah, there it is. Gilmet second place. Schwenkler third place. I don't think he'll be overly disappointed with that. We'll bring you the full classification in just a couple of moments' time. But what a race here at Watkins Glen. It's absolutely fantastic. As the full classification, then we've got Ken Copeland, race winner from Jean McLaughlin, second place. Robert Schwenkler, P3. That was your pro category. Winner in Open class, Tyler Manning. Winner in Ben class, Ian Kearney. Greg Meismer, winner in Pro Ben. Second place in Open was Tyler Beeman, 7th overall. Gene Kelly, 8th overall. Rodney Campbell, 9th. Third place for Jacob Little, he was 10th overall. Then it was Brandon Potts, Josh Sheps, Kyle Shelton, Brandon Leonard and Tyler Reid. Second in the Pro Ben category for Tanner Masters. Peter McDade was third in Pro Ben, before Dan Fendick, Martin Wallace and Rui Farina rounded out the top 20. Tyler Gilmet second in Pro Ben with Charles Boschel, Chandler Baker, Jonathan Leby, John Hicks, Billy Hull, Brandon Mateo, Louis Rios, Christopher Puglice, Richard Davenport, 30th place, all a lap down towards the bottom end of the field. And then it was Jason Taylor, Anthony Calvi, Cody Durkin and Chris Halstead, who didn't actually start this race, unfortunately. So that was the end of the race. We will bring in the Pro Ben winner of Greg Meismer here, who... Greg, it's been a couple of weeks since we've seen you out there on the track, but race win on your return.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't be more excited, to be honest with you. I was down in Sebring racing with the Porsche Sprint Challenge North America. Put a car on the podium there. Come home, get under the rig, put another car on the podium, another Porsche. Yeah, been a good week.
Yeah, been a great week. Well, congratulations on the podium in the Porsche Cup Series. But a bit of I suppose, an unexpected win tonight, because it looked like Gilmet had the pace over you in this one, and his misfortune led to your fortune, I suppose.
So I had a little mix up, I think, with Rodney Campbell on lap 2 going into the bus stop, and it really ruined my chances of making anything happen. And I saw him wreck, just a little bit in front of me, and I honestly kind of broke my heart a little bit for him.
Yeah, easily done though, isn't it? That part of the circuit. We've got 3 races left. Road America next week, beautiful circuit. That Ford Mustang is going to be hard to catch in a straight line, though, and there's a few big straights there.
It's going to be hard to catch in a straight line, and I'm definitely going to have to add just a little bit of extra wing. I'm starting to find some oversteer in some high-speed corners, and that doesn't bode well for the kink or carousel out there.
Finally, anybody you'd like to thank tonight, Greg?
Just everyone here at Operation Motorsports and Apex Racing TV for putting this whole thing on. It's a lot of fun to come out here every week, and then my team ZFG Racing and everyone that follows me over at Speed Rat Racing on my Twitch channel and Pro Sport Competition. The list goes on. I could sit here for 10 minutes thanking people, but yeah.
Greg Meisman, and your race winner in the Pro Ben category tonight. Congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, man.
Great win there for Greg Meisman, and let's bring him in. The bridesmaid of the Ben category this season, Tanner, second place again. Been a good result for yourself because it looked like you didn't have the pace tonight.
No, yeah, not at all. Actually, I was just telling Ian how much I loathe Watkins Glen. It's a beautiful course, and seeing it in person made me really appreciate it. But it's one of a few tracks where I just can't get right. so to pull out a decent result was surprising. Probably the most surprising it's been all season. So.
Left it late as well. You had to catch McDade in the Ferrari. You had to get past McDade in the Ferrari. And he didn't really fall off the back of you, did he, when you got past him? So he was kind of having to make sure you kept consistent after the overtake.
Yeah, I had eyes on all 3 mirrors, and I watched that Ferrari sit there the entire time. He didn't lose pace, and then him and Tyler Reed were both kind of just around me the whole time, which made it really exciting. So,
noting the change of decal on the car, the livery, onto like a bit of a pinky red kind of colour. I'm absolutely in love with the livery choice there tonight. But we head to Road America next week. As I've just said to Greg, the Acura is going to struggle a bit down them straights compared to some of the other cars. Is that something that you're going to have to make changes for in the Acura, or what's your game plan sort of going into next week?
We're just going to run it. So couple things that I guess I'll have going is I'll see if Ryko's got a setup. If not, I'll be building my own. I had to do it for Brands Hatch, and I'll be prepared to do it again for Road America. But thanks for the livery shout. That's always a pleasure because that's all handcrafted. I did that one myself. Everything on it's drawn by hand, so appreciate that.
Oh, there we go. Absolutely lovely. Finally, once again, Tanner, anybody you'd like to thank?
Just Opmo this week, man. They've been doing a lot in the background to make sure the stuff is up and running and that we can come out here and show support for one another. So it's been a lot. It's been a long week, so thank them. That's it. So.
Indeed. Tanner Masters, congratulations. P2 in the Ben category. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
And let's pull in the race winner because he's got 3 weeks left after tonight to try and make it a clean sweep of victories. Ian, again, another flawless drive, but you was mixing it with all them different classes at the front of the field there tonight. That must have been enjoyable.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm really been enjoying this. This week I was like, you know what? I've been able to clean up. Let's set the bar higher. I was trying to get top 5 overall, and I achieved that. Just thank you to, or not thank you to them for wrecking, but thanks to a few incidents that happened. That kind of put me up there. I kind of was gifted a few spots, but it's not about that. I think it's about, like, if you're there at the end, that's what counts.
Yeah, 100. It was interesting though to see. Obviously, we had the 4 class leaders, then a couple on the podium in that pro category up there, and it was just interesting to see how you was approaching that, because obviously you kind of also got to make sure that you don't get in a bit of a wreck with these other cars in the other categories that could cost you points or that race win in your category.
No, absolutely. I was definitely thinking about that. I got a guy that was spotting for me in my Discord, and I was telling him, I said, I don't want to do anything drastic here. I just want to, if it's given to me, I'll take it. But I'm not gonna put my neck out there because it doesn't, at the end of the day, it will affect my points if I do end up binning it.
And we've got to ask, you're 6 from 6 at the moment. Can you go 9 from 9?
Well, I hate to say it, but I'm gonna have to miss VIR round.
Oh.
I have family in town that day. Well, it's tentative. Well, the problem is I have like a boat tour around the Tampa Bay area, and so I'm gonna absolutely be on a boat at that time. So maybe I'll have a ghost driver in here or something. I don't know. I'm just playing, but
That's an absolute shame. All right, can you make it 8 from 8?
I can. I'm definitely gonna give it my best shot. I think the odds are with me here, but we'll see how it all goes. Hopefully, I can stay out of trouble.
Road America next week. You looking forward to it?
Ooh, Road America. That is a bit of a nemesis of mine, especially up the Corvette Hill, I think. That turn is a bit weird, and then the carousel, the tires overheat, the kink. I mean, all of it is just a bit more tricky than this track. I think Watkins Glen kind of reminds me of Road America Light. It's a bit tricky, but Road America is just a bit more.
And lastly, then, anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank you guys up in the booth, Trophy AI, Michelin. Let's see, CrowdStrike, Operation Motorsports, of course, for putting this all on. I'm actually going to Sebring this weekend, and I'm going to meet up with some of the guys for the first time out there, so I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, everybody for racing with us and keeping it all interesting.
Well, thank you, Ian, once again. Enjoy the time at Sebring. Hopefully it's a brilliant race for you to enjoy. Have a few drinks and meet some of the guys. That's going to be absolutely fantastic to hear. Well done tonight. Ian Carney there, then, your beneficiary race winner.
Thank you.
We'll see Ian next time out. And we can get Ken Copeland in, who is a man of all trades here, or a man of all cars, should we say. Ken, Mercedes-Benz, race win, no problems.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little cheating because I'm generally somebody who drives the AMG 99% of the time. I took some time off, was thinking about running the Ferrari in a different league, but decided to hop back into the AMG, so followed through with this one and got back in the old girl. It felt good.
Kind of like a home from home sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I love the way this car drives. I know it's the oldest on the grid for the most part these days, but she's amazing.
It was an interesting start to this race, though, wasn't it? Tyler Manning gave you a bit of a run for his money at the beginning, got up the inside, got the run down the back straight, and made it difficult for you in the first part of the race.
Yeah, absolutely. He sent it early on, had the rights to it, did it well, did it clean, and so it was one of those things to kind of sit back, see where he was going to take it. For a couple laps, it was really solid, but I was sitting there looking at Jean behind me going, I think we're going to run out of time here, so the first chance I get, I'll probably send it on him carefully, of course. Try and get out in front, get some form of gap, because I know Jean's got some pace in him too. So, yeah, it was an awesome pass early on. Hopefully he finds a little bit more pace, and he'll be up there in the front runner late in the race in the future.
And that's kind of was the way the race panned out for you, wasn't it? It was when you got ahead of Tyler. Jean just couldn't do anything because it took him a bit longer to get through on Tyler, and that allowed you to just get that buffer, that cushion over Jean to sort of be a bit more relaxed in terms of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. That was really the test, is get out in front of him and then basically just push safely while keeping an eye on what's going on behind me. If Jean gets held up a little bit, that's great for me. If Jean gets past, it just gives me a little bit of information on kind of how he's going to play the race. From there, I got kind of a 1.5-ish second gap, I think, and then from there it was just kind of managing those times, saving what fuel I could, and trying to make sure that the race was on my pace and nobody else's. So,
are we going to see you in a different car next week?
Unlikely. So like I said, I'm running the AMG in a different league, where I'm probably going to have a little bit more company. Trying to get some reps in the fixed set in this one, which is not something I've done very often. So you'll likely see AMG rest of the season, regardless of where we go.
Rest of the season. Well, we are at Road America next week. What can we expect to see from you there?
Same thing, man. I go into it generally relatively well prepped. I usually have some kind of plan so that I can just feel good about executing and see where it goes from there. Curious to see what the field brings.
The best thing there, viewers, is listen to how calm he said that. It's the same again. Just rinse and repeat. And Ken, this is kind of what we've seen from you all season, hasn't it? It's been that prep, do the work, put the time in, deliver on racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I know, like, I come here, I got a couple thousand rating on most people. I'm absolutely happy to help anybody that needs it. So if anybody in the league is listening to this, please feel free to tap me. I love to see company up front, but at the end of the day, every single time you go out on track, you should have purpose. So for me, whether I'm out in front by myself or while I'm, when I'm around people who are way faster than me, the goal is to put in the work so that I can practice executing. Because when it matters, that's the reps that'll matter the most. So, absolutely.
100%. Finally, anybody you'd like to thank today?
Yeah, absolutely. Always, as usual, y'all are going to hear the same thing from me week in, week out. Operation Motorsport does an amazing job supporting veterans. So support that organization both in real life at the racetrack. I know you'll see them with SRO. There's a couple guys in the league that follow them around, but also obviously in sim. I want to thank Apex Racing TV, like I said, week in and week out again. Y'all do an awesome job broadcasting across a number of different leagues. It's always high quality. You always do amazing coverage. Production with Jonathan back there is always solid. So thank you so much for what you do. And then, of course, thank you to the sponsors for Operation Motorsport. So CrowdStrike, Trophy.ai, Apex Racing TV, making it all possible.
Brilliant. Ken Copeland, your race winner in Pro and overall this evening. Ken, we'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good one.
Indeed, we will then. If you're at Sebring this weekend, make sure you enjoy yourself and have a beer or two on us here at Apex Racing. But what a night of action here at Watkins Glen. Absolutely phenomenal from start to finish. There wasn't a moment in that race where something wasn't happening. We head to Road America next week as we enter the final 3 races before we go to Canada and then to Virginia. It's going to be an interesting race, interesting final 3 races to see what will happen. As always, myself and Jonathan will bring you all the action on that Tuesday evening throughout the rest of the season. But Watkins Glen in the bag. Thank you once again to Operation Motorsport, Michelin, CrowdStrike and Trophy.ai for running and supporting this channel this league once again. But plenty more in store here on Apex Racing TV. Make sure you tune in and catch up with all the action throughout the week. I'll be back in the booth on Thursday evening for a little bit of GT4 action, final race of that championship coming live on Thursday evening this time around. But I think that is about everything we have got for this evening. This has been Watkins Glen. What a dramatic race. Move on to Road America, another top 5 circuit for me in the American, out of all the American tracks. I don't know the last 2, so I've got to do the homework like the drivers. They've got to do the prep on the track. I've got to do the prep for the track for them last 2 to bring a fantastic broadcast. But Watkins Glen in the bag. Round 7 coming next week at Road America. I've been Matthew Duffin. Jonathan has been in the production seat, bringing you all the action and the replays of all the drama here at Watkins Glen. We'll see you in a week's time. Goodbye.